Hello, it's Ali Duzette, and today is the 10th day of the March 2025 Eclipse portal, where we have 2 weeks during which we have the opportunity for about 18 months of soul growth, and I'm here to kind of guide us all through it. So this is pretty exciting. Every 6 months, we go through a spiritual wormhole that has the potential to teach us 18 months worth of life lessons in just 2 weeks, and that is this 2 weeks, the 2 weeks sandwiched between eclipses. Today is an extra exciting day because the sun is acting as a bridge between Mercury retrograde and Venus retrograde. Okay, this is happening right here. This is called a stellium. We have 3 planets within 7 degrees, and really it's within 3 degrees at 2, 3, and 5 degrees of Aries. This is a very tight energy, and while this energy is persisting, it will kind of feel like we're being squeezed through a tube of toothpaste today, where many of us are going to be rethinking a lot of things in our lives, really reconsidering a lot of stuff that maybe we thought was, we never thought we would ever reconsider that. We thought, oh, I would never rethink this. Well, maybe you might, and maybe you might do that today. And in the next week or two. Mercury governs information sources and communication, how we talk, how we think, how we interact with others from a mental space. And it also governs little travel. That's going to be the trip to the gas station, the trip to the grocery store, picking up your kids from school. Venus is going to deal with relationships, love, money, self-image, all of that kind of thing. So right here, this is just a potent invitation for some serious rethinking in a lot of ways. You might think of something as innocuous as a new way to take your kids to school that might avoid some traffic. Or you might be rethinking your entire marriage or your entire whatever. You might be rethinking where you get your sources of news. You might be rethinking how you're managing your finances. All of that is encompassed in this little section right here. And all of this is gearing up for that March 29th upcoming solar eclipse. So here are some important reminders for today and for the next 2 weeks or so. During Mercury and Venus retrograde, it is very, very common for exes to contact each other. So ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, people do this. It is insane. It is just insane. The last Mercury retrograde that happened, I did not expect this at all. I didn't date a whole ton, but guess what? Guess what? 3 guys that I went on one date with reached out to see how I was doing. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? Come on, universe. How is this real? It is real. If people from your past contact you, you do not have to respond to them. And I kind of recommend that you don't. It's just not worth it. They're just doing it because they have no idea that they are living in the middle of contacting your ex, whether, and so you don't need to do that. If you feel like you should contact your ex, you are probably wrong. It's just the weather. Just take a deep breath, go take a bath or something. Come on, we don't have to do this. We do not have to. There is not an urgent deadline here when these things come up. So when this kind of weather shows up, this kind of space weather shows up, and you start feeling that urge to reach out to people from your past, it is a natural urge to do that, and things are stirring up to support that, but you just don't have to, okay? So my vote is there's not a deadline on this. If you really feel like you have to contact your ex, just give it another 3 weeks. What is it gonna matter? Give it 3 weeks, reassess, and then see where we're at, Okay, so what kind of thoughts have you been rethinking lately? And what new thoughts have been coming your way? Have you had any new thoughts around family, society, how the world works, politics, nature, money, religion, or any other kind of thing? Okay. Any kind of new thoughts or revision thoughts where you're taking a look at what you used to believe and now saying well, maybe I might feel a little differently now. Maybe I have a different perspective now. All of these kinds of things are happening in part because of this space weather. And so if your new thoughts and new perspectives are freaking you out or upsetting you, just take some deep breaths. Remember to maintain your connection to our creator and to your own intuition. so that no matter what is coming into your space, you can have a divine perspective on what you are rethinking. So, a few months ago, I got a question in my Facebook group about how to handle it when other people haven't accepted the truth. And I put the truth in quotation marks because of everything that I'm going to say right now, which is that first off, I don't think that any human on this earth, including myself, of course, has a really great handle on the most truest truth of all truth. What a human perceives as true is probably not super well aligned with actual truth, like God's truth, the truth of the universe on any given day. I just think that our perspectives are too limited for that. And I think it's a biological thing. I mean, like, your brain is encased in your little human skull, and that's not a lot of square footage to, you know, to house the knowledge of all truth that exists in a perfect context, right? I mean, that's just my feeling on it. I don't know. Um, Basically, if we're 100% sure that something is true, maybe it is true, but we probably don't have the full context on it, even if it is true. And also, there's a strong chance that it's not quite as true as we think, or that we've gotten some parts of it wrong. I do think that God has a hand in what every individual perceives as true to some extent. And so, what I wrote in my Facebook group is that sometimes people, they, I'm sorry, how do I put it? We're all on our own different, unique journeys. And I think that sometimes, so let's take religion as an example. There's a bazillion different religions on this earth. Not to mention that every single individual interprets their own religion differently from all the other individuals, at least to some small extent. And so everybody's walking around with these different religious beliefs. And even people who say they're not religious, they're still religious, but they are just religious in a different way. Like, their God is themselves. Their God is their own thought. And so everybody's got these, dogmas that they are engaging with. And I don't know. I just feel like as everybody is going through their own experience and dealing with their own set of beliefs about how everything works, a lot of us want everyone else to agree with how we see it, which I think makes sense. In a way, it can be noble. But also, I think there's a time and a place to say that, we're all on our own journeys. Someone that might have an opinion that you think is wrong, but maybe it is exactly right for them to have that opinion right now in their life. And I have just known so many people who have had experiences where they believed in something really, really strongly, and then something else happened that kind of shook them out of that belief. And they had to reconstruct a belief system. And then when they did that, they're a different person, and sometimes they resent their first belief system, but hopefully we can all agree that whatever belief systems we've had over time, having them and then shifting them, all of that has been an important part of our process. So all of that is to say, if you are sitting there thinking, oh man, these other people have got it wrong, I really need them to agree with me, um, maybe we need to, like, be a little bit more humble about it and realize that, yeah, they have this strong belief. I think it's wrong. I might think it's dumb, but maybe it is exactly right for them right now. And maybe it's not wrong for them to believe something that isn't true right now. What if everything is happening in this divine timing and it's okay for them to be wrong right now? And I don't have to fixate on it, obsess about it, and try and force them to comply with what I think is real. Does this make sense? Can we allow ourselves and allow others to be wrong? Can we allow ourselves and others to have been wrong in the past and to change as needed or as wanted? Here are some tapping scripts for us. Let's go ahead and tap. I'm just going to read these out loud one at a time, but you can screenshot this and tap it over and over again if you want. I am open to preparing for a spiritual rebirth with this upcoming solar eclipse. I feel so much excitement about a spiritual rebirth, whether it is large or small, whether it is obvious or subtle. I'm sorry, my kids are screaming. I am willing to let go of old ways of seeing the world in order to be open to new and more divine ways of seeing the world. I invite God to bless my eyes to see more clearly. I welcome clarity of spiritual sight. Let's put our hands on our heart and breathe it in. That is it for today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Check out allyduzetclasses.com. I have been recording some new sessions for this eclipse cycle. So if you are interested in something new or something older that is still going to be relevant, go check out that website. Thank you for being here. Anytime anybody takes initiative to start healing their life, it blesses everyone around them. So I'm just I'm just glad that you're here. It's my goal to help bless as many people as I can, and you being here, helps me complete my goal, and then you go out and you bless the people around you. So we're on the same team and we are getting the job done, and I'm so happy. Thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.